Hello and welcome to another Fusion Extreme Photoshop tutorial. Today we're going to talk about the basics of layers. If you're not familiar with layers at all, hopefully by the end of this tip you'll be pretty clear on what they are. Now let's take a look here in Photoshop. Pretend this is just a blank piece of paper. A very blank piece of paper, just like sitting on a desk or whatever. Now pretend we want to draw on this, but we don't want to mess up our nice clean piece of paper. So we want to put a transparency on top of it, just a transparent piece of paper. That way we can draw, but we're not actually messing up our nice clean piece of paper. What we can do, we can come up right over here, we click on Window, and we make sure that the Layers tab right here, Layers has a check mark right by it. You can hit F7, these are your shortcuts right here. You can hit F7, and up will pop your Layers tab. And that's right down over here, your Layers palette. Now right here we have a background layer. You can see layers, this is your layers palette. We have a background layer, it's just a white piece of paper. Now I want to put a transparency on top of it. What I can do is come up to Layer, New Layer. It's called Layer 1, that's fine with me, and so I'll click OK. Now if I come back over to my layers box here, all of a sudden look what we have here. We have Layer 1 is sitting on top of the background layer. It's right up on top of it. You can tell it's transparent because of that little checkerboard. The checkerboard means transparent. That's a little thumbnail of your layer that you have there. Now, what we want to do, let's say I want to put even another layer on top of that. And I'll show you why. It's pretty cool. New Layer. Now it's automatically called Layer 2. I say OK, and look, back over here, it's popped right up on top of Layer 1, which is on top of the background. Now just like anything, let's say I wanted to switch this out and make it a yellow piece of paper. Okay, what I can do is I can come over here, and this is your foreground color and your background color. I want to choose the foreground color. Up comes your color picker box. I'm going to choose yellow, and OK. Now I want to fill that, so I'm going to select all, and then I can do Edit, Fill. With the foreground color, that was yellow, remember. OK, and now look, we've got a yellow piece of paper. Remember back over here, the background layer, that's what we had selected. You don't want to select that one or that one when you do it. You want to have the background layer selected. Okay, I've now got a yellow piece of paper with two transparent layers on top of it. Now, I want to draw a rectangle on layer 1. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come over here to my marquee tool, and I'm going to select the rectangular marquee. And I'm going to draw a rectangle. And now, let's say we want it to be blue. I'm going to select again my foreground color. Let's just go ahead and pick blue. OK. Now I want to fill that area with the foreground color, so I'll go, once again, I'll do Edit, Fill, with the foreground color at 100% opacity. OK. There we go. We have a blue rectangle sitting on top of my yellow piece of paper. You can see that right here. It's sitting on top of the yellow piece of paper. Now, I have not messed up my yellow piece of paper. Look, I can move around my rectangle. I can do whatever I want, and I'm not at all affecting the yellow piece of paper. If I want to see what it looks like, if I want to make that one invisible, everything on that layer invisible, I click that eye. See right here, this eye? That indicates the layer visibility. I want to make it invisible. I click the eye. Oh, the layer's gone away. Click it back. There it is. Now let's say on top of that layer, I want to draw a circle. Let's say a red circle. I have to select layer 2. Remember, it's on top of that one. I'm going to change it to red. Let's go to our foreground color. Change it to red. OK. Now back over here, our marquee tool. Remember we drew a rectangle? If you click it, the elliptical marquee is what we want to go with, because that is how you draw circles. I'm going to draw something close to a circle, and what I'm going to do is hit Edit, Fill, just like we did before. My foreground color, remember I made it red, and I click OK, and there we go. We now have a red circle on top of a blue rectangle. What's so special about that? Well, I can still come back right over here. Let's say I click on this rectangle layer, I can still move the rectangle and I'm not moving anything else. Or I can move my circle around wherever I want just by clicking that. I can make that layer invisible. I can make that layer invisible. I can even lock the layers. I can click right here. That puts up a lock right here. And then I can't move it, and it yells at me to tell me you can't move it because it's locked. So what I do is I come back over and unlock it, and then I can move it wherever I want. Now, you see how the blue rectangle here goes behind the or underneath the red circle? It's because we have the layer underneath, the blue layer is underneath the red circle. What if I decide I want to change my mind? I want to do it the other way. I can click on my layer here and I can drag it up above, and look, now back over here, it's on top. It's on top. That's the basics of layers. Now that's all nice, but this is Photoshop. Why am I drawing nice little pictures of rectangles and circles? That doesn't help me with photos. Well, let me show you how this can help with photographs. I'm going to pull up two photographs here. I'm going to pull up this picture of Stephanie standing in the desert and this picture of a balloon. Now I look at this and I think this is really nice. This is a nice photo. But wouldn't it be cool if there was a balloon, like she was holding a balloon, or better yet, what if she just let go of a balloon? Well, what I do is I can go over to this right here, to this balloon photograph, make sure it's selected, and I take this. Now you see how back over here on your layers I have the balloon was drawn on top of the background layer. Just like we did with the red circle before, now we've got a red balloon instead. What I can do is drag this balloon from this picture over on top of this picture and let it go. And then, just like it's on that transparent layer, just like we did before, I can move it wherever I want. She can be holding the balloon or it can be floating away. Cool thing about layers is right over here on the opacity, if you put your cursor right on top of the word opacity in the later versions of Photoshop and you click, you can drag back and forth and you look, it makes it more visible or invisible, depending on which way you want to go. Or you can just change the percentage in the little box there. But let's say we want to go there, and now look what it looks like. It looks like Stephanie's just let go of a balloon and is floating away. That's the magic of layers. And now you can also look at it and change your mind and say, never mind, I don't want it. You can delete the layer by dragging it down to this little trash can right here, or if you're not sure, again, you can click on the eye and it becomes invisible. There you go. There's the basics of layers and how you can use them in Photoshop. We hope you enjoyed this Photoshop tip brought to you by Fusion Extreme. Thank you. Have a great day.